Volunteers meet up with the North Alabama Lions for the first
on boards, and Tennessee really just wants to get him out there and get him back acclimated because he's going to be a big part of the staff moving down the stretch.
His return this season was inevitable, but a question mark as to when. The thought was he was progressing earlier than expected, but definitely unexpected to see him in this starting role on this Tuesday. Now the question to how long he'll go, we'll find out. Likely, if anything, it trends in the Tony Vitale, Frank Anderson model, going to ease him in, correct?
Yeah, I would bet an inning max for AJ today. Just get him out there, give him some live action. If all goes well, it's probably 3-4 hitters, and then get into his recovery process and be ready to go for this weekend or next week.
Well, he will face this Lions squad. 3 wins and 3 losses. They split a pair with St. Louis over the weekend. That finale was canceled. Some rain in the area, so they now make the trip to Knoxville to face the third-ranked Volunteers. And Russell's first pitch, outside, ball 1. Russell, 6 outings, 4 starts a season ago, 14 innings, just an electric start when he was healthy. He was the Friday night guy opening night against Texas Tech in Dallas and had 10 shutout strikeouts.
Yeah, it was really battling injury. As soon as he kind of went down, he had a little hiatus, and then they tried to bring him back as a reliever, and it still just wasn't right. Ultimately decided to have surgery and get the thing fixed to lead all the way up to this point.
2-1 start for Russell. Fastball there. Had 10 strikeouts and 4 1/3 opening night last season. 3 scoreless against UAlbany 1 week later, then missed a month. Pair of SEC outings, 2 more months out, and just couldn't get back healthy throughout that season last year.
Fastball at 94. You'll see him 94 to 96 range when when it warms up and he gets into the heat of competition. Might see some 7s or 8s, but it's a power sinker. It's just in an age where everybody wants to spin the ball and it's high spin rate, he really leans into the sink and gets some arm side run on that thing as well. But the fastball plays really well.
2-2 to Jonathan Lane, who is the leadoff man for the Lions, 286 hitter. 8 hits in 28 at-bats. Two fouled away.
96 on that one.
And you mentioned it, Will. Fantastic as a freshman. He's a freshman All-American by a lot of accounts. 30 innings thrown at a sub-1 ERA. 24 relief outings that year. So the sky is the limit for what Russell can accomplish.
And you can see that delivery. There's just not a whole lot of extra movement. It's what they call effortless, and that's what all the scouts kind of ooze over, because you can imagine the durability of a long season, just being able to go out there every 5th day and give you a quality outing.
3-2 count on the leadoff hitting Lane. Pitch home, strike 3 called. First batter A.J. Russell faces, he sends packing. Got him on the fastball there on the 3-2. And 1 quick out. Leadoff man retired from North Alabama. Alex Wilson will stand in the 2 spot for North Alabama. The team is pitching staff off to a really great start for this Lions group. Bats looking to
and carried a lead into the 5th inning, I believe, against Auburn in last week's midweek on Wednesday. Starting pitcher Reese Young, who we'll see here in a minute, gave him a quality outing, and he's going again today, a real pitch to contact guy, but definitely the pitching ahead of the hitting so far.
2 balls, 1 strike as Russell Gets the off-speed working there for strike 2.
And the other thing on Russell that, if Tommy John is such a buzz topic in baseball today, and it's become more common, and it's advanced so much over the past couple years even, that AJ didn't have to have the full Tommy John surgery. So anybody who's really surprised that he's back, under that 12-month mark, paints the outside corner right there. It's really more of a revision surgery and a repair rather than a full replacement without getting too nitty-gritty. That's why he was able to kind of have a somewhat abbreviated recovery timeline. And obviously, you got to take care of your business and do things the right way and really just, take your time and not push it too much. But obviously feeling good enough to push Tony to get him out there, because I know they're always so cautious with pitchers in their arms, and especially with a talent as immense as AJ Russell. It's not something you want to rush back. So they had to be more than sure he was ready to put him out there today.
So far, so good. 2 batters faced, 2 strikeouts as he gets Matthew Delgado, catcher for the Lions, in the 3 spot. Yeah, that will be the question for Russell. One, again, just cautious is always going to be the approach, and then he's got a future as well. A lot of draft questions to consider, but then you start to figure out what role will Russell occupy within this team that's been fantastic on the mound to start.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't think they want to, be cornered into any decisions right away, but I think there's several possibilities as you play it out in your head that you could see him doing. And I think it all just depends on how he recovers and what kind of workload progression they see him getting into.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Delgado. Welcome back, A.J. Russell. He strikes out the side. 3 batters faced, 3 Ks as A.J. Russell. Alabama and Tennessee. Volunteers will pick up the bat for the first time this afternoon in offense. Leads the nation in home runs so far in the early going. 14 runs a game. That's 98 runs in 7 games to start the season. Just back to what they were doing last year in that 2024 National Championship run. Just a lineup, again, top to bottom, dangerous for all opponents.
Sounds like a broken record, leading the nation in home runs. Facing Reese Young today, lefty's going to be mid to upper 80s. As we mentioned, started against Auburn last week. No strikeouts, so definitely going to see a lot of contact.
It'll be Dean Curley in the leadoff spot for Tennessee. He'll be the first to get a look at Young. This is a North Alabama team that is littered with SEC opponents throughout the schedule. Midweek with Auburn. Last week they'll go to LSU. Second weekend of March, they've got a midweek with Alabama. Bolstering up their schedule. Games like this help them get ready for ASUN play in March. It's Curley into play, and it's going to get past Jenkins at short into left field. Dean Curley kicks off the inning with a single. But Reese Young, he got the start against Auburn last week at that midweek, and you mentioned it, no strikeouts, but through 4 innings, only allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, kept the Lions in the ballgame.
Yeah, classic strike-throwing lefty. You got a little soft spot for these guys. He certainly knows his way around the mound, and he's not afraid to throw it over the plate and pitch to contact.
Gavin Keelan will get his first at-bat. Transfer from Louisville. Off to a good start as a Volunteer. 2 hits and 7 at-bats over the weekend against Samford. 5 RBIs, and 3 of them came on a home run in that Sunday finale. And it's been Curley and Keelan, uncontested 1-2 in this lineup every game so far for Tony Vitello as he fills up the lineout card.
They've combined for 18 walks, both .581 on-base percentage. You got the right-left combo, middle infield. They do a good job setting the table for the lineup.
Already a 3-0 count for Keelan, who drew 4 walks on the series with Samford. He's got 10 on the season. And that's ball 4. Keelan did not need to swing the bat. That's the thing we've been talking about with Keelan. Had 17 walks drawn and 366 at-bats his entire career with Louisville. He's already got 11 in 8 games with Tennessee.
He does, and only 2 strikeouts. So that walk-to-strikeout ratio as a hitter plays big and just seems like a very professional approach. Obviously, some close takes on that one. But when you're ahead in the count, if it's not center cut and you don't need to take a hack at it, then you don't have to.
You talk about broken records, but it feels like every game we go through the whole balance that this Tennessee lineup, yes, they have a lot of power. They lead the nation in home runs, but they are 3rd in the nation in drawing walks as well. So disciplined. They're not going to chase after much.
No, but it helps when you have 22 in one game.
It does. Gets UNC Asheville last Tuesday, but it was also consistently, it's a good pitching staff at Samford. Made it very difficult on those guys.
They do. They just don't give anything away, and they're so good with 2 outs. You're never out of the mud with this Tennessee lineup, and guys like Inslee are all.
Inslee on the ground to 3rd. Could be 2 for the Lions. It is. Turned at 3rd is Loving. Quick flip to 2nd.
Just what the doctor ordered for Young there. Gets the ground ball double play. Ball was hit hard. As I was saying, veteran hitter in Hunter Inslee. Still, it's baseball. Things like that happen, but
the guy like Young, you mentioned it, gonna play to contact defense. They know with these guys, you gotta be ready, right?
Absolutely. Double plays a defensive homer.
Just like that, 2 down for Tennessee. Go-ahead run at 3rd. Andrew Fisher not wasting much time with that first pitch. Crush foul right side. Power hitting lefty. Transfer from Ole Miss. 2 for 8 against Samford over the weekend with an RBI. And the shift is on. That runs in on Fisher. Got him in the back as that pitch got away from Reese Young. Runners on the corners.
Yeah, not even sure he was trying to go in on that one. Ball just gets away from him. So as we were talking about the 2-out hitting, here's Cannon Peoples, switch hitting catcher. Opportunity with 1st and 3rd.
And Tennessee's so good last year with 2 outs. Did a great job over the weekend against Samford. Cannon Peoples, a home run in that game 1 for Tennessee. It was a sweep of Samford. Bulldogs team that looks to be a major player in the SoCon Conference, close to a regional last year. It's a good team. It really felt like for Tennessee their biggest test of the season thus far. Certainly in terms of the pitching staff the Bulldogs possess. Peebles fouls it off, down 0-2.
Yeah, Samford had some really tall righties, just some physical bodies on the mound, and they had good stuff as well. Was really impressed with their pitching staff, and Tennessee will see more of the same this weekend, starting Friday when they take on Oklahoma State. Got a lot of power arms on that staff, always.
0-2 outside. Yeah, big week for Tennessee. This is their final game at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, an 8-game home stretch to begin the season before they head to Dakin Park is now what it's called, out at Houston, and they'll get quality opponents in Oklahoma State, Rice, and Arizona. Huge tests early in the season. That 1-2 ripped into left. It's going to be an RBI for Cannon Peebles. Tennessee on the board 2 out hitting once again.
Went back to the breaking ball. This one came back over the plate just enough, and People stays on it, stays through it, and gets on top of it.
Number 13, Reese Chapman.
Swing from Peebles brings in Curley. Tennessee able to strike for a run in the bottom of the first. And brings up the red-hot Reese Chapman, best hitter in terms of average over the weekend for Tennessee. Got 5 hits in 9 at-bats.
Yeah, it's always nice to start your season on a good note when you got to walk up there and see the batting average on the scoreboard, and anytime there's a 4 at the start of it, you'll take it. And he's sitting at 409. A guy who was in the lineup a lot last year, but not every day. This year has been in there pretty much every day, and really wants to be an anchor in the middle of the lineup and provide a lot of production for the lineup, because there's a lot of pop in Reese Chapman's bat. Highly recruited kid, was like the #1 player out of Colorado coming in, and he's just one of those guys that could make a jump and have a huge year.
32 starts last year. You always knew the pop was there. 7 home runs, 31 RBIs. Strikeout rate a bit high last season, but he has been extremely steady to start this year. 409 average, as you mentioned. 8 RBIs, 2 home runs. 2-1, opposite way. That's in the left field as well. Hard round from third by Fisher. It's a second run here in the first.
Pretty much a mirror image to the pitch that Peebles got a hit on. But Reese stands on the other side of the plate, so he lets it get deeper, stays through it, and smokes it down in the left field. That's a textbook lefty-lefty swing, way harder than he made that look. Really good swing from Chapman, stays locked in.
6 hits in his last 4 games, add another RBI to his season total. Now Delgado out to the mound. Speak with his pitcher, Reese Young. Gave up 3 hits and 4 1/3 against Auburn last week. Tennessee, they've already tagged him for 3 hits here in inning number 1.
And 2 of them with 2 outs. It's just relentless. Dean Curley starts with a leadoff knock, and you get the double play thinking, okay, maybe I'm about to get out of this. And then they just don't give away anything. And that's why they give you 3 of them, and not many lineups use them quite as well or to the fullest extent that Tennessee does.
Head coach of the Lions, Chad Prakniak, brings his bunch into town. Again, 3-3 record. Big series win over an Army team opening weekend, and then you go tough environment midweek with Auburn. Rain-stricken week with St. Louis, and now here you are back in an SEC environment. So a team that's already been through a lot this season, and like many teams this time of year, you're really just trying to data collect. You got a lot of young players you're mixing in the lineup. You can learn a lot being on the road in this environment against a great Tennessee lineup.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's not really a bad outcome either way. Last week was extremely competitive against Auburn. This week you've got a nice day, an opportunity to put together a competitive outing against Tennessee, but either way you're prepping for the season. And when you play the ASUN's a very competitive conference, but the reality is it's probably a one bid league, so you're really not worried about a whole lot rather than trying to get better. And this is a program that's been Division I since 2018 or 2019, so they've come a long way in a short amount of time and are continuing to get better, and not being scared to schedule SEC competition can only help them.
ASUN Conference play starts on March 14th. Still time to get things situated before then. Back-to-back 2-out base hit RBIs for Tennessee. He's going to leave room here for Levi Clark, who is in the starting lineup today. Designated hitter. 2-2. Clark lays off full count. Clark had quite the weekend against Stanford. A pair of pinch hit home runs, none bigger than that one Saturday. Grand slam, bottom of the 8th, that was the game winner for Tennessee.
Yeah, it was a huge swing. There's not any other way to put it. Does it again the next day and gets the nod on Tuesday.
To get back in the lineup because he went 0 for in that game one on Friday and then got demoted Saturday, but obviously made the most of those opportunities.
Yeah, it's a tough lineup to crack. I don't know that they've had this much depth and this many options for everyday guys in the Tony Vitello era as he works another full count walk. I mean, you're just never out of it. Never out of an inning with this team until you actually get the third out. But you know, the freshman class was obviously rated very highly, but until you get into the thing and know how they're going to play in live action, you don't really know what you've got. But just they don't feel like freshmen. And you know, Jay Abernathy's about to come up. He's another one. They have so much talent, and it's a competitive atmosphere within the dugout, just trying to get on the team or on the field to play with your teammates and be able to compete against somebody else. So that internal competition is a good thing to have as we're going to get another mound visit here.
Yeah, a pair of walks this inning now for Reese Young. He hit Andrew Fisher as well. And, of course, just 2 big 2-out hits. This Volunteer team have extended this opening frame for Young. Looks to be some activity getting amassed out in the North Alabama bullpen. And in midweek fashion, the expectation is we're going to see a lot of pitchers on both sides today, but obviously Tennessee off to a competitive start at the plate, putting some early pressure on Reese Young.
Yeah, they are. Especially early in the season, you're probably not going to have a midweek starter role defined just yet. Maybe later on into the deal, you'll have somebody that pretty much starts every midweek and goes maybe 4 or 5 innings. But right now, you're trying to get guys opportunities. They had a rain out. Tennessee has had a lot of run rules. You're going to try to get as many guys out there as you can and evaluate and see what you got.
So Stone Lawless will hit with the bases loaded. Tennessee has already hit 4 grand slams this year. Again, they lead the nation with 20 home runs, but 4 grand slams already by 4 different batters. It's worth noting. They've done a great job in these early games of getting bases loaded opportunities. Lawless hit his first career Tennessee home run on Sunday.
Lawless, kind of like Clark, is another guy who's just hitting so well. He's almost forcing their hand. You know, you have to put me in the lineup because, you know, his primary position's a catcher, probably behind Peoples this year, but he's so gifted with the bat that you almost, you know, you have to find somewhere for him to play. So right now he's playing first base and can play a little bit of outfield as well. He's a pretty good athlete, especially for a catcher. So if you hit, it's kind of hard to keep you out.
Good problems to have for Tony Vitello when he fills out the lineup card. Lawless went 2 for 3. That home run and an RBI in that final game over Sanford. Expect him and Peebles to do a lot of catching duties on the weekends. Both in the lineup today. 3-2 count. And that misses. Ball 4. So Tennessee walks in a run. Lawless to first. Peebles scores.
Yeah, went with the breaking ball 3-2. That was awfully close. Probably off. Delgado framed it pretty well, but that definitely hung out there just a touch.
So 3 runs with Tennessee here in the first, all coming with 2 outs on the board. That double play ball that North Alabama got almost had them out of the inning. Just needed 1 more out with a runner on third. But Tennessee, they have button things up with 2 outs. And now the 9-hole hitter, Jay Abernathy, standing in here in inning number 1. Abernathy, that's into left field. Another base hit for the freshman. That's going to score 2 runs as Abernathy delivers with 2 outs again for Tennessee.
Another breaking ball, another left-handed hitter staying on it. Very similar to the Chapman swing. Just gets it over the third baseman's glove.
Yeah, and these freshmen looking very impressive for Tony Vitello and his crew. Abernathy earned 3 starts last week and 3 hits over the weekend against Sanford, and continues just to be a tough batter to get. Every ball he makes contact with seems to have a little life to it, and obviously is a fantastic base runner. Can play a lot of different spots defensively. The freshman group have been outstanding.
And Jay's played in every. He's just another guy, we're going to sound like a broken record, who's kind of forcing their hand that they're going to have to get out there in some form or fashion. And I think, you know, the next 3, 4, maybe even into SEC play, they'll still be trying to figure out the full lineup.
Curley out deep right field at the track, but Wade has it to end the inning. Tennessee, they played 5 runs, all with 2 outs on the board to take an early lead here in Knoxville.
It's time for today's game of Just a Little Kicker, presented by the YMCA. Thank you to who it is. Scan the QR code on the board now. One lucky fan with the correct answer will win a big orange.
Belum ada kok, langsung bukan